And greetings YouTube gamers, welcome to another episode of Retro Raider. My name is Johnny Retro and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back guys, welcome back to my segment of What Have I Been Playing? I haven't done one of these in a while, and like the name says, this is just a segment where I get the chance to share with you guys the games that I've been playing lately. Bottom line, this is just another opportunity for me to talk about video games. We're in the end of August, summertime here in Lisbon. You guys know, I'm not a fan of summer, but usually this is a very quiet time in the capital, this time of the year, because everybody goes on vacation. But not me, I usually wait a little bit longer, so I take the opportunity for work during August and to play some video games. My girlfriend actually took some time to be with her family during this past week, so yeah, there's been a lot of gaming here in the house because I'm home alone. And just a quick reminder guys, if this is your first time here on the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss a thing. Okay, so without further ado, let's check out the games that I've been playing lately during summer right after this. Okay, first things first, it took me a while, but I finally did it. I finally beaten Red Dead Redemption 2. I've showcased the game in a previous video, and yeah, this was my very first introduction to the Red Dead series, and I picked this game recently, and it took me a while to beat it, guys, but it was an amazing experience. I really enjoyed the story, I really enjoyed the characters. Probably my favorite would be Arthur, of course. But then on the epilogue with John, and now I know that John is the main character of the first Red Dead Redemption game, the epilogue was very interesting. It was very relaxing. John is also a very appealing character, and I mentioned this previously, but I really think that Red Dead Redemption draws a lot of influences from Shenmue. Two very different games indeed, but I don't know. Red Dead Redemption sometimes has, that Shenmue vibe in the sense that it is very relaxing. It has a very interesting pacing. I mean, the pacing of the game is the one that you give it. I think that Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of those games where the game is what you want it to be. Of course that we have the main story, but aside from that, the world, the environment, the side activities, you can literally sink hundreds, thousands of hours into this game. I was very surprised with the whole experience because I didn't thought that I would enjoy it so much, as much as I did. But yeah, it truly is a masterpiece. And yeah, what is left for me to say? I think that this game was indeed my gateway into the Red Dead Redemption series. So Red Dead Redemption 2, it is done. Now this is going to be fun. I recently picked a huge bundle of PS2 demos. And this is just a small portion of it. I have 4 right here because I've actually tried these out yesterday. But it's a bundle of, I don't know, 30 plus demos. I will showcase these to you in a future pickups video. But the cool thing about these demo discs, and I don't usually collect these, but I think that I will start to, because nowadays, we have YouTube. We can just do a quick search of, top PS2 games, or top 100 Mega Drive games or Nintendo games, you name it. Back in the day, that was not the reality. This was the reality, the demo discs. And I discovered so many games thanks to these demos, and also thanks to the gaming magazines. And yeah, I got a very nice bundle of PS2 demos. I think that it was under 50 cents per demo. And believe me guys, I'm having a blast discovering new games through these old demos, because the thing with YouTube and when we see like a compilation video is that it's a lot of information in just a short amount of time. But not with these. With these we can just pop the disc in and take our time, and explore everything that these have to offer. And just for fun guys, let me know down below if you collect old demo discs. Next, and I have to pull this big bad boy right here, my ZX Spectrum 128K plus 2. The ZX Spectrum, a machine that needs no introduction, and yeah, I have a fairly large collection of ZX Spectrum games. But to be fair guys, it has been a while since I last booted this big bad boy. But lately, again, I got lucky on a couple of finds, And sorry, I'm not going to show them to you in this video, wait for another pickups video, but that got me back into the ZX Spectrum. And even though it is a system that I didn't grow up with, I believe that the original ZX Spectrum, the 48K, was released back in 82, 83. That's 5 years before I was even born, so this system isn't at all part of my generation. But now, at the age of 32, as somebody that has a big passion for the history of video games, I mean, this right here is a huge encyclopedia for gaming. You have thousands, literally thousands of ZX Spectrum games still being released to this day. And I could be wrong, guys, but I would bet that the ZX Spectrum is the biggest gaming library out there. You know, aside from PC. And with a library so vast, so huge, I mean, you have a lot of diversity, you really have a little bit for everybody. And of course that in the middle we do have some bad games also. And it aged, it is true, this system aged. In terms of graphics, let's say that it is somewhere between the Atari 7800 and the NES. In terms of graphics, I would have to say that the Commodore 64 looks better than the ZX Spectrum. But I mean, the ZX Spectrum games have this charm. I really can't explain it because I don't have any nostalgia for the system. But, you know, if you never played a ZX Spectrum game, give it a try because it is a very unique experience. We really have a lot of great games on this 8-bit computer. And lately, yeah, I've been doing a lot of research, and you know, I can't wait to show you guys the pics that I've got for this big bad boy right here. But yeah, lately I've been playing a lot of my ZX Spectrum. Usually when I have some free time for myself, like the one that I'm having right now, I usually take the opportunity to explore a brand new JRPG that I never played. And when I say brand new, I'm saying brand new to me, because I'm talking about, of course, retro JRPGs, especially during the 16-bit era, because to me, that is the sweet spot for RPGs. So recently, I've discovered this game right here called God, Growth or Devolution. And this is just one of those very quirky and bizarre JRPGs that never got a release outside of Japan. This is an exclusive game for the Super Famicom, but I found a translation patch to it, and I'm actually playing it on my Super NES Classic because, of course, it is hacked. Shh, don't tell Nintendo. And I'm having a blast with this game, and even though I'm just 1/3 at it, I can already say that this is not an RPG for everybody. In a lot of ways, it is very similar to Earthbound, in the sense where it's not technically a fantasy RPG. It actually occurs in Japan, you know, real Japan, between the year of 95 to 2009, I believe. It is very surreal, very 90s, and at the same time it has this, you know, sci-fi touch to it. And let me tell you, it is challenging. This is a challenging game. It is no walk in the park. The story is okay, but the characters are very, very appealing. And for me, it's just about the world and the experience. I actually have a brand new segment here on the channel called Retro Games from Japan. Like the name says, it's reviews from games that never got a release outside of the land of the rising sun. And after I beat this game, I will definitely bring it here to the channel. So if you guys want to check out more about that segment, I will leave the link down below for you guys to check it out. And trust me guys, stay tuned for that review because it's going to be a very weird one. Last but not least, I want to talk about the brand new Netflix documentary, High Score. I've watched the documentary in 2 days, 3 episodes per day, and my thoughts on it. Did I enjoy it? First of all, I did. I really did. Great job. But I do have some small complaints, and this is just me being picky. First of all, the documentary has no timeline. I mean, we start in the 80s, then we go to the 90s, then we go back to the 80s again. And it was not confusing for me, but for somebody that wants to find more about the history of video games and you know, the impact that video games had, you know, in pop culture during the 70s, the 80s, and the early 90s, that might be a little bit confusing. I truly think that this is a documentary mainly for gamers. Second, well, I believe that this is an American documentary, and they did focus a lot in the American culture thing, you know, the American gaming scene. They did talk about Japan, of course, but there was no mention about the European gaming scene, especially in the early 80s. In America, you guys had, for all of the fellow Americans out there, you had the video game crash, and that is mentioned in the documentary. But not in here, not in Europe. Here, people had home computers, microcomputers. Again, the ZX Spectrum. A lot of people were playing this during your video game crash. And they did talk about arcades, but I think that they barely scratched the surface of the whole arcade scene. There was a whole episode dedicated to RPGs, so kudos for that. There was an entire episode about Sega, kudos for that. But speaking about Sega and going back to the arcades, no mentioning in brawlers, beat 'em ups. I think they've shown briefly some footage of Streets of Rage 2, but that was it. Where was Dinosaurs and Cadillacs? Where was Streets of Rage? Where was Final Fight? I mean, where was Double Dragon? But again, if you didn't watch the documentary, just take this with a grain of salt because the documentary is great. I'm just being picky. And that, my friends, concludes the video. I really hope that you guys have enjoyed this one, and please let me know down below what games have you guys been playing lately during summertime? Have you been playing modern games? Have you been playing retro games? What consoles are you guys currently playing, or have you been playing on your PC? So let me know down below. Guys, if you have the time and the patience, feel free to follow me on social media. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to put a like on this video. Please subscribe to the channel and take care of yourselves, take care of the gaming community, and game a lot.